something new. We're trying a different system today to see how it works. Hopefully it works okay. I would appreciate it if folks would let us know if it's okay. You all please let us know if it's okay.
Please let us know. We don't want to be talking and you all can't hear us.
Exactly. So let's see here. Somebody tell me something. Tell me something.
You you all can't hear us.
All right, I think they can hear us, so we're going to go on. So, Chloe, we're talking about something that is really, really, really special and something that is really dear to our hearts. For 35 years, at least 35 years, I have been involved in the ministry and the effort, the space of empowering Black fathers and empowering and enhancing Black families. And now that you and I practice law together, we believe the Lord has begun to start using our law practice to help Black families by fighting for Black fathers in custody battles. And so that's what we want to take a few minutes and talk about today. Why don't you kick us off on that? Because these family law cases are really something that you specialize in and you are becoming one of the best.
Yeah, I love practicing family law. I absolutely love it. When I was in law school, my last year of law school, I interned at the Thurgood Marshall Family Law Clinic. And that's really where I got to see firsthand the impact that the law can have on Black families. I think when people think of the injustices that are in the legal system, they automatically think of the criminal justice system, which is fair. We know that police brutality, unfair sentencing, etc., are major problems with the criminal justice system. But there's also injustice in the family law legal system as well. Um, it it's greatly exposed when one represents a Black father who is fighting for custody of his child or children. It becomes greatly exposed. And as we were taking a deep dive over some of the cases that we've been representing together since we started Corbett and Corbett, we noticed that a majority of our cases we represent Black fathers in these family law matters and custody cases. And like you said, it's really no surprise to either of us because it's been on your heart for 35 years. And then growing up in the household that I grew up in with you and mom, it's been on my heart as well. So I really see our family law practice presenting Black fathers as another extension of trying to to close the justice gap that are between white families and Black and brown families, specifically Black families and Black fathers. So it's something that I'm also passionate about. It's something that I love. And we've noticed that Black fathers seek our firm out. They specifically seek us out to represent them because oftentimes they're discouraged. They've had previous instances with the family law legal system, especially as it relates to child support. And because of the advocacy that we put into the world, because of the advocacy that we place on our website, we're sought out by those Black fathers. So it's something that I absolutely love, and it's something that is needed. We need strong Black men raising strong Black boys and girls. And the work that we do as family law practitioners, representing those Black men and reuniting those Black men with their children, are essential to making the Black community stronger as a whole.
Very good. Um, I I'm also really, really, really passionate about this space too because I'm a Black father, and I tell you, I can't imagine what would be going on in your brother's life had not I been involved.
Yep.
I mean, you all have a wonderful mother. Don't misunderstand me, and you would have likely turned out okay. But God has a purpose in having black, men in the lives of their children. I mean, we play a critical, crucial role in child rearing,
Yes.
especially when it comes to young boys and young girls, for that matter. And so, in a lot of these cases that we have, we see that the children, a lot of times when the fathers are not involved, the children are acting out. The children are having all kinds of issues because dad is involved. And I want to clear up something. I want to clear up a myth. And that myth is that black men don't want to be involved in their children's lives. Well, I have seen studies and we have many black male clients that prove that that is not true. The black fathers that we represent, they really want to be in their children's lives.
Yes.
I mean, they really, really desire to be in their children's lives. That's why they hire us. That's why they pay money, fighting in court, oftentimes for years, trying to be in their children's lives. And sometimes, unfortunately, what we see is the, the mother has issues with the father, and sometimes she's not putting the best interests of the children first, and you know, keeps the father out of the kids' lives. Now, I'm not blaming mothers. I'm not saying that in all these situations, mothers are the problems. No, it's not what I'm saying at all. I am saying, though, that if a black father wants to be involved in his child's life and he has, good character, he's, doing his best, he should be allowed to be in his child's life. Moreover, I would argue that there are some times, especially in a boy's life, where that boy should be living with the father around a certain age, where it takes his father, the firmness of his father, to help get him into manhood.
Yeah. And the statement, Black fathers are in the best interest of Black children, that's such a profound statement because the way that Texas family law is written, the basic tenet, the basic standard that Texas judges have to consider when it comes to family law cases, whether it be divorce, custody, child support, is what is in the best interest of the child. And there are a number of factors that the courts must consider. That is the basic standard bearer um, um, factors that the courts and the judges will look to. What we're arguing and what we know based on, being raised in Black homes, based on our interactions in the Black community and our Black clients, is that Black fathers, having stable Black fathers, being involved in Black children's lives is in the best interest of those Black children. And I don't think that that type of holistic view is really advocated a lot in Texas family courts or even considered by some Texas family practitioners, some in the judiciary, etc. But we know that when there are stable, well-adjusted Black men involved in their children's lives, we know that where Black children are living with stable and well-adjusted Black fathers, then the family unit is more than likely going to be successful. Is going to be a productive member of the community is and is going to produce successful children on the whole. Statistics show that. And so I believe that this should be another another Holly factor, another basic factor when two African Americans parents are involved, or at least one black father is involved, that if this is a stable father, it is definitely in the black children's lives to have their fathers um, be involved in their life. That is in their best interest.
Now, someone said that they think the system is favored toward the mothers. What do you say about that?
It is, unfortunately, and it starts from the issue of child support. Um, a lot of times, when typically a lot of child support, oh, I'm here by myself.
No, no, keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, typically, at least in Texas, the way that a child support case is initiated is through the Attorney General's office, and there is an Attorney General, an attorney who represents the AG's office for the state of Texas, involved, and they're not involved. They don't represent the father or the mother, but because in a lot of these cases the children live with the mother, that's kind of where the investigation ends. So the way that Texas law is written, whoever the child primarily lives with, and if the court makes a determination that the child primarily lives with the mother, then almost automatically the father is placed on child support. But at that level, a lot of times there's not a lot of investigation into, you know, the 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 home environment of the father versus the mother, um, why the father is being put on child support in the first place, what the father says. We've had cases where there have been child support cases litigated through the AG's office where our clients told us we were not even allowed to say anything, that our input was not allowed at all. It was kind of just a standard bearer. The mother was determined to have primary custody of the children or conservatorship, and the father was placed on child support. So because there is at that stage kind of a lack of investigation, um, then the father is then placed on child support, and then he has to come back, and if he wants to modify the child support or modify the conservatorship or custody issues, then he has the burden of proving why the modification is necessary or in the best interest of the child. So the burden is then placed on the father, and is at that point where a lot of black fathers get discouraged, and then they don't continue with the legal process.
Yes. So I think you stated it very well, and I I did all that you said. You know, this thing of the court system being sort of what kind of favored toward mothers is it's not supposed to be that way. I mean, that's not written in the law, but I think society just sort of sees, just sort of thinks that children ought to be in the care of their mother.
Mhm.
And because, mothers make better parents, more nurturing, more nurturing, all of that. Um, I won't get into that, but I will say this as a father. There is a space in a young man's life, especially, where it is in that child's best interest, all things being equal. We're talking about a good father. We're talking about a hardworking father. We're talking about, a father who's not abusive, et cetera. All those things need to be in place. But assuming that all those things are in place, there comes a point in a young boy's life that he needs the firm guidance and um, strength of his dad. That doesn't mean that young men who are raised by their mothers won't do well in life. I'm not saying that at all because a lot of them do. I know many who have. But I am here to tell you that a lot of the young men that we've represented in the criminal system went wayward because their fathers were not involved or their fathers were present in their lives but absent at the same time. So if you got a kid who's acting out, who is misbehaving, who's getting in all kinds of trouble, and there's a father there who wants to have that kid in his home so that he can guide and help raise this kid, I'm telling you, in a whole lot of circumstances, that kid needs to be in the home of his father. That's our point.
Yes, yes. Because where there are black fathers, where there are strong black, well-adjusted fathers, there are strong black families. And where there are strong black families, there is a strong, thriving black community. And so having fathers present in black children's lives to help produce successful black children, it benefits the black community as a whole. So that's kind of the holistic approach that we have to take. It has to be just beyond um, just each familial unit, but we have to look at the black community as a whole. Um, and in the cases that we've handled where there were, traumatic or problematic black children, most of the time, 8, 9 times out of 10, that child did not have their father present in their lives. Or like you said, if he was present, he was still absent. He wasn't actively involved in their child's lives. So we want to counteract that. We want to use our law practice to help reunite black fathers with their black children. We want to help reunite black fathers who may have even gone to prison or gone to jail, but have come out, have paid their debt to society, are being successful and productive, and want to be involved in their child's lives again. We want to help reunite the black father with their black children as well. We want to help unite black fathers who may have had to leave the home and felt they had to go get a job and be out of their black children's lives, but they realize now, no, we need to be involved and we need to be with the child. We want to help reunite them as well. So that's what our practice has largely revolved around. And most of the custody clients that we represent are black fathers.
So again, there is that issue oftentimes of parents allowing the breakdown of their relationship
Yeah,
to interfere with what is in the best interest of the child.
yeah,
We've seen mothers who are just so angry with the father that they take it out on the father, and it ends up hurting the child. If you can address that for a minute.
yeah. That's unfortunate. Um, we see that a lot in a lot of these family law cases. There's a breakdown in communication between the parents. One parent is mad at the other parent because they left. One parent is mad at the other parent because there was infidelity in the relationship, and that clouds the parents' minds. And so it becomes less about what is in the best interest of the child, and it's focused more on the relationship or lack of relationship between the two people who created the child. So we always warn our clients that because the way Texas law is written, we're going to be presenting evidence to show why it's in the best interest of the child, what you're asking the court to do, what you're wanting. And honestly, there are some limitations with family law courts because we can't, force the other parent to comply, to communicate with our client, to not let bitterness about what happened in a relationship affect what they do in court. All we can do is show that what our client does, you know, the evidence of what our client does is in the best interest. But it is true that a lot of times we do contend with, bitterness and lack of relationship between the two parents, and that clouding the other parent's judgment. We do.
Well, we are getting some good comments, and someone commented that they were not raised in the home with their biological father, which was my case as well, but was raised by another man, and that man was the father figure in their life. So I know all about that. My wife knows all about that. We both were raised by relatives, and yes, we love both. I like to say it this way: my biological father gave me life, but the man who raised me taught me life.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that, it has to be a biological father who who is needed in that child's life. It may be a stepfather.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It could be an adopted father. We got an adoption case that we're handling now, where we're going to be fighting for two people who've raised a young man, a kid, since he was 1 or 2 days old. We're going to be fighting to get this young man adopted by this family. So, the the biological father is, first preference, but it's not necessarily, going to work out that way every time. Didn't in my circumstances, didn't in my wife's circumstances, but thank God God had a ram in the bush. So that was a really good comment. And so I wanted to highlight that. I appreciate the comments. Keep the comments coming.
Yes, please. And look, in the Black community, we raise each other's kids. That is not uncommon whatsoever to have, if the biological father is not present in the child's life, for another strong Black man to step into that father's place. So, like you said, a strong Black step parent, a Black grandfather, Black uncle. We just believe in helping that it takes a village to raise a child. And we see
Amen.
that in so many Black families across the country. And like you said, we're fighting right now. We have some cases where we're fighting, like the adoption case. We have cases where a grandparent is fighting for custody of a Black child. So we take cases where, even if the biological Black father is not present, that if another person or adult has stepped in, then we handle those cases too. And Texas law allows that as well.
You're right that we handle, those kinds of cases. However, the bulk of our cases, custody cases, are Black men, and I want to underscore that. Black men
Yep.
who are trying to gain custody of their children.
Yep.
And I want to underscore that, because again, there is the myth that Black men just, just are just no good fathers. They abandon their children. All of them don't want anything to do with their children. I read a study not long ago that said Black men tend to be more active in their children's lives, Black fathers, than all other fathers.
Mm.
I read where they they do things like take the kids to school, pick the kids up, give the kids baths, just spend quality time with the children. Now, we know that some Black men are, victims of systemic racism and discrimination. And a lot of Black men are therefore unemployed or underemployed. And many of them are not able to provide the way they want to, provide the way some other men do. But again, we're seeing where these men try to make up for it in other ways,
Yep.
and that child, whether dad is making minimum wage or whether dad is 6 or 7 figure income, they could care less. They just want dad.
Yeah.
They just want pops. They just want their father in their lives. I'll never forget one Caleb's birthday. Your brother, my youngest child. I'll never forget this. I asked him, "What do you want for your birthday this year?" And I was expecting, some money or this or that. He said, "No, I just want to spend time with you. Let's go fishing."
Mm.
That blew my mind, Chloe. He said, "I'll never forget that." He said, let's just go fishing." I don't. He didn't ask for any of that other stuff. Let's you and me. Let's just go fishing.
Wow.
So that's what kids want. They want time. They don't care about all the other stuff. They want time with their dads. And again, there's a special relationship between children and their moms. Don't misunderstand me. But moms, if you got some kind of issue with that child's father, such that you're keeping that child away from his father, you are doing a grave disservice to that child, unless there's something, some kind of that the father puts the child at some kind of risk. I mean, serious risk, not something that you're making up just to tell the court, but a serious risk,
Yeah.
a real risk. Don't do your child that way.
Yeah.
Don't do your child. That child may grow up to resent you for keeping his father or her father out of her life.
Yeah. Don't let the issues that you have with the child's father, moms, and we're speaking directly to you, um, stunt the relationship that your child could have with his or her father. Because if so, just like my dad said, that if the effects of that lack of relationship goes well into adulthood. And so if it's just something that you're holding on to because the relationship stopped or he cheated, but if he's stable, if you know that your child is safe around him, and they want to have that relationship, you should let them have it, because studies have shown that it is best for black children, especially black boys, but and black girls too, to have relationships with their black fathers. And I'm just going to say it. That's one of our goals of our family law practices. We are here to help reunite stable, productive black fathers with their black children. That's one of the purposes of our practice. Is it's one thing that we're extremely passionate about with our family law practice. And so, any black father who wants to be more involved in their child's life and feels like because of the relationship with the mother, the court system has done you a disservice, reach out to us, because we want to help. We want more black children and black fathers reunited, because that makes for a stronger black community.
My nephew Jamel Brown, a fine, fine young man,
Because
uh, uh,
he is a
who,
black father who is extremely involved in his black son's life. Man, we need more like him.
if we could take him and clone him,
Yeah,
right, and just spread him throughout the black community, we could solve a whole lot of problems
yeah,
in the black community. Racism couldn't do and have as much of an impact in our communities if we could take young men like Jamel and clone him and spread him throughout the black community.
yep,
There is systemic racism, there is systemic injustice, there is that. But one of the best ways to blunt that, the effects of that, are strong black families
yep,
that are anchored on strong black men. And that has been the ministry that I have been involved in for the last 35 years. And um, I remember when I was a school teacher, that was one of the most eye-opening um, couple of years that I ever had professionally. I started teaching in a school, and my God, when I got in that school, I saw the young black men. I taught high school, and most of them sat in the back of the class and just goofed off, or at
mhm,
least that's what they were used to doing. That was not going to happen in my class, okay? And I didn't let that happen in my class. And they knew better than to come and behave that way in my classes. Now, every one of those kids, Chloe, every one of those young black males, and it was mostly young black males,
mhm,
okay, you black females generally, I think you all just mature quicker than we do. You got more sense than we have. I mean,
That's the
I
truth.
mean, I really believe that.
Ain't that right?
But yeah, I wouldn't let my black male students do that. I demanded that they come to class on time, that they have their books, that they do their work, that they be prepared. I demanded it. There were a couple who were playing basketball and or football or baseball, and I had a coach or two to visit me and say, "Hey, can you let this one, kind of wink, wink? Can you let this one go on through? Although they're probably not doing well in your class." No, I cannot, coach. No, I cannot. I will not.
Mhm.
They have got to hit the books.
Yep.
Okay? If they don't hit the books, they're going to fail my class, and then they're not going to be able to play on your team. So if you want this young black male who's scoring all these points, who is getting all these touchdowns and making all these tackles, if you want him on your team, you better tell him that Mr. Corbett will not pass him just so he can be on the team. That would be, to me playing into the system of soft bigotry.
Yeah.
And I will not do that.
Yeah.
And you can recall I didn't do that with Caleb. Caleb was an athlete throughout high school, but academics came first. And I told him, if you expect to play any kind of ball, you're going to have to hit the books. And we had the 3 B's. Tell us what the 3 B's are in our house.
Bible, books, meaning school, and then ball, meaning sports. And
Exactly.
you did the same thing with me, Dad, because I played people may not know this, but I played JV basketball in high school. And for whatever reason, I was always a good student, but for whatever reason, one of my grades was low in a class. And we were on the bus, my team and I, my basketball team and I, we were on the bus to go to an away game. And I remember my coach yelling to the back of the bus, "Hey, Chloe, your dad is at the front. He wants you to come up here." And you made me get off the bus, and I couldn't go to the away game that night. I was so embarrassed at the time, but I am so grateful now that I had you as a strong black father, that I had mom that really made me focus on my academics, on God, and then on basketball because I would not be where I'm at today. That's the type of strong black fathers that we need involved in our black kids' lives. That right there.
And I don't mean to suggest that black fathers are only critical for black boys. I don't mean to suggest that at all.
Not at all.
It's not at all. I've raised you, your mom and I have raised you and your brother, and I know it is just as critically important
Yes.
for a girl to have her father in her life as it is for a boy.
Yes.
There is no question about that. And these black fathers that we represent, they're trying to get custody of boys, girls, or one of each, or two of each, or two. Or what. So it doesn't matter whether it's a boy or girl. That black father is indispensable in the lives of their children. That's the point that we're trying to make.
Yeah.
You know, I remember there was something that I told you when you were a little girl. I'll never forget it. I had to think about the things that I said to you because I knew what I said, like with Caleb, were going to be very, very influential. And so I remember, I believe the Holy Spirit calls me to say on one occasion, to tell you that you can do anything a boy can do.
Hmm.
You can do anything that a male can do. Don't ever think that you can't do what a male could do.
Hmm.
Now, of course, I knew there were limitations, because the men can't have children. So anatomically, there are some things that you all can't do, that the other gender can do. But you got the message,
Yeah, that stuck.
and that stuck, huh?
Yeah, that stuck with me to this day. Um, I never had any issues in terms of my intelligence, not being able to reach what I wanted to reach in terms of my educational goals, my career goals. If I wanted to start a business, economic wise, like I always had that in the back of my mind. And those are the intangibles that black parents and black fathers have on their black children. That's why we need them involved in their kids' lives and reunited. Because it's things like that, it's words like that really have an impact on children, and it's impacted me as I've grown up. I still remember that to this day. It's really helped a lot. It kind of reminds me. I was watching an interview with Michelle Obama, and she was talking about how having her father, who by all accounts was a strong black father, he had a disability, but he went to work every single day and provided for his family. She had a strong black brother who looked out for her and who she looked up to. And in combination with all of her other family members, she said that getting the love from those strong black men as a young girl, it was invaluable, and it imbued in her self confidence and self worth, and it's one of the major reasons why she was able to reach the heights that she reached, becoming a successful attorney, being first lady, and then being a strong mother herself. So it's a cycle. It's a cycle that is important.
Well, as we come to a close, I want to tell a little story that I hope I can get through without choking up. And because anybody who knows my family know I'm the crier in the family.
Yes.
I'm the crier in the family. Okay. We were on a hearing a couple of days ago, and do you remember the judge said, "Well, I'm known as the crying judge."
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That was so comical. And you remember what I told him? I said, "Well, Judge, I'm known as the crying lawyer,
Yeah.
so, so we're even." But so I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. When you were a little girl, these are some of the most tender moments that I have in my heart. Every time, every time your mother would do your hair or would put you on a new dress or something, the first thing you would do is, I remember the word, you would do it every time. There were four words: let me show daddy. And you would run to wherever I was to show me your hair, to show me your new dress, to show me your new shoes. And what you were expecting from me was love, affirmation, affection. I treasure those moments to this day. You don't even remember that, do you?
I remember it a little.
It would be the first thing. You didn't want to hear what anybody else had, not even your mom. Soon as she did the last, whatever she was doing,
Hmm.
you would run. Let me go show daddy. Oh my God. It just really, really, really brings me to tears to this day. And there's this commercial that comes on TV. Your mom will tell you, every time I see it, I play it over and over and over and over. And it's this real, I'm sorry, you all, it's this real tender moment between this father and his little girl. And I play it over and over and over and over again
Hmm.
because it reminds me of the tender moments that we had when you were a little girl. Now you're a grown woman now, and we don't have those kind of tender moments like that as much. And you're a hard hitting lawyer and all that. But those moments are the moments that live in my heart.
But I'm always
And
daddy's little girl.
oh, you will always be. If anybody want to cross Augustus Corbett, anybody mess with Chloe Corbett, woo boy, let me tell you.
Mhm.
So, um, you know, I'm being facetious. No, I'm not. I'm being very serious.
Let's keep it real. Not at all.
I mean, I'm that way with both of my kids, but especially my daughter. You know, my son can take care of himself, but I'll go there too. I'll go there too when it comes to him. But I'll get there in a hot flash with my little girl.
This is why Black children need their fathers. This right here. I can't tell you how many girlfriends of mine who grew up without their fathers, who crave this. And I've always felt so blessed and privileged that you were just so active in my life. You and mom were a unit because I've seen the effects of not having their fathers in their lives on my friends, and I've had to console so many.
And by the way, we don't want to leave mom out of this at
Oh no,
all.
we can't leave mama out.
I mean, mom did the heavy lifting. You know, I was just there to make sure things didn't go off the rail, but she did the heavy lifting. So shout out to my lovely wife, your mom, Tony Corbett, and to Caleb. But you're right. We're just trying to make the point that Black fathers, let me put it right here. You know, there's this standard in the law that says when you're doing these cases involving children, it's what's in the best interest of the children. We are saying today, we are affirming right here, and we are affirming right now that Black fathers are in the best interest of Black children.
Point blank.
Point blank. That's what we're saying. That's what we fight for every day with these men. We're getting ready to go. We picked up a case here today. We're getting ready to go to battle for this man and his children.
Yep.
Okay, so we got another appointment at 5 o'clock. It's getting close. Chloe, and speaking of you and me, gee, how many times do we speak a day?
It gotta be 20, 25, something.
It gotta be. I mean, all day long, all day long. There are some days where you get tired of talking to me and I don't hear from you. But for the most part, it is all day, every day, having to do with the law or with the Lord or family. We're a close knit family. We're out here in Texas, and it's pretty much just us.
Yep.
So I'm choking up again.
Yeah.
And it's just pretty much us. And so we're just really, really, really tight. You know, we don't have we got one relative in this immediate area, and we got maybe one or two more down in the Houston area. But for the most part, it's been the four of us. So we're a very tight knit family. And,
You know what, Daddy? Before we close, clients become a part of our family. We
That's
bring
right.
to the Corbett family.
That's
The
right.
type of law firm we are. Just because we're so close knit as a family, our clients, our hearts, our hearts are woven with our clients, and they truly become a part of the Corbett family. And we tell them that um, whenever we come on into a new case. So that is the values that we put into it because we care so much about family because family means so much to us. That's why we fight so hard with our family law practices to try to help reunite these Black fathers with their kids.
Well, Jamel just sent the message out when I said, I think in response to me saying it's us four and here in Texas and so forth. He said, we're here in Orlando. So by all means, we got family there in Orlando, Florida, and Tallahassee, Florida, and Savannah, Georgia on my biological father's side, and a whole bunch of family on the biological mom's side. But here in Texas, it's been basically us four. But we thank God for all the extended family that we have. I just once again, in closing, just want to say how much of a blessing Jamel is. We there's a whole story behind that I don't have time to tell, but he's my nephew, and when I first learned of him, he had this shirt on his Facebook page that had in real big bold letters, "Holy," or it was either "Holy" or "Holiness." Holy or holiness. And I told his mother, I love him already. I love him already. Praise God. Thank God. He's a strong Christian brother. And by the way, let me say this before we go. We got to get off here. But he is also a gifted rapper.
Amazing.
Oh man, he can go. He has a CD out right now.
Yes, go get his CD. You will be blessed. He can spit for days and days and days. Seriously.
Let me see if I can pull it up right quick and play it on our way out.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let me see if I can make it happen.
He's
yeah, here it is.
Normal rappers out here, nah. He spits.
How do you think Paul Picasso put on the whole armor of God? Sure.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Real war, spiritual wickedness in high places. America don't wanna lose dirt under their shoes. Relationships are vital, careful who you choose. She used to love a dude till she got abused.
This is my nephew right there.
Hey, I can show you what this life. I got Jesus on the inside, I'm shining like a nightlight. Used to be addicted to the nightlife. Fornicator, I ain't wanna live right, real life. One planet, one water. It's gotta get an increase. Get your life.
You better come with it now. He got your milk for me.
I will lay hands on you, deliver. That's that real power, Holy Ghost. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. Even when I wasn't saved, they know I'm a lyrical. Every time another say that's a real miracle. If they don't see, don't want a sign, they ain't in the spirit though. A young Joseph, God deal with me in dreams. And Christ been the center like Kareem. When you ain't in his will, everything ain't what it seems. We just try to open eyes to the blind. You ain't got a lot of time, no. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. Yeah, the real war, spiritual. Yeah, the real war, spiritual.
Can you hear that?
Spiritual wickedness in high places.
I tried to share my screen. Did it work? It didn't work.
People playing and they go. When we take King James, we ain't talking about LeBron. I'm in the word, I need revelation. Studying about
J-A-N-E-L.
devil used to ride me, I was in some scary places. I couldn't move my hands about it, just make crazy faces. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. I was seeing dead people in the physical. Hey, I got delivered though. It was a spirit I had brought it through a TV show. No lie. Ain't no faking, you can't play with saying Prince of Darkness. Want you isolated, we need consecration. What you tree bearing? I can't afford to be a fig. We on head standards. From the day that John the Baptist until now, the kingdom suffer violence, yeah, they trying to keep us silent. Declare the word like I'm Stephen now. They throwing spiritual stones, saying tempting me to get even. Chapter 6, verse 11, book of Ephesians, God still on the throne. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. Yeah, the real war is spiritual. Yeah, the real war is spiritual.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Up here one day.
Yes, we're gonna have him on with us. Looking forward to it. Jamel, God bless you, and Sophia, and Jamar, and your mom, sister, everybody. Praise the Lord. And so Chloe, we're going to end it. We got another meeting in 5 minutes.
Yep.
So thank you for joining me and talking a little bit about this today.
Black
Love
fathers
you.
are in the best interest of Black children.
Say it for them in the back.
Black fathers are in the best interest of Black children.
All right. There it is. And with that,
Bye, y'all.
we're out. Peace.